What's up, everybody?
Welcome back to this YouTube channel. So in today's video we are going to be talking to Max. He's going to tell us his success story as a new immigrant in Canada. He's also going to tell you the journey, how he found his job currently, and it would be helpful for you because you're going to know how to find a job yourself. He's going to say why he chose Edmonton over Winnipeg, and as well, guys, how much money you can earn as a railroader, and what are the career opportunities, and what are the two major companies here in Canada. So make sure you watch this video till the end.
Hi everybody, my name is Max Warren and we are on our Sorry, I have to shut up this radio. We are in Calgary right now next to this locomotive, but actually Igor lives in Calgary. I live in Edmonton, and I work for Canadian Railway. I'm a Canadian railroader, but I'm also from Ukraine. Last year, June 25th, 2018, I've been hired by two of Canadian railways, Canadian National Railway and Canadian Pacific Railway. But I had to choose because it was one day, right? And you have to decide where you should go. And Canadian National Railway sent me a plane ticket to Winnipeg. And if you live in Canada, you know that Winnipeg is not a place where you want to go. So I didn't want to go to Winnipeg, and I decided that I will stay in Edmonton to study railroading. And I stayed with Canadian Pacific Railway, which is this locomotive, but we actually don't ride the steam locomotives these days. They're pretty much the diesel ones. And it took 4 months for me to qualify. For these 4 months I got the salary of $140 each day, 7 days a week, which is about $3,500, right?
So Max, how did you find this job? Was it difficult? Which company did you apply for, and how did you choose that position specifically in Edmonton?
So when I came to Canada, I actually came to a city called Red Deer. It's also in Alberta, between Edmonton and Calgary, and it's the same distance, about 150 kilometers to each. So actually I wanted to go to Calgary because it's warmer here, not today, sorry, but it's actually warmer and the mountains are closer here. You want to go skiing and go to Banff or any other stuff. And I was choosing what city to work as a Canadian railroader. Edmonton was pretty good one because I choose Edmonton over the other cities because when you work for Canadian Pacific in Edmonton, you stay at home every night. You just work around Edmonton. You service oil plants, you service other customers, you do your job, and every night you come home to your family, to my kids, and you just enjoy your life. It's a little bit better lifestyle than when you sit on a train and you go to another city and you stay away from your family.
Oh yeah, absolutely, man. It's always better to be closer to your friends and closer to a bigger city than staying in the cold and boring Winnipeg.
Yeah.
But it still gets really cold here. Me and Max, we didn't expect it's going to be this cold when we took our cameras. So he's wearing his sneakers today, and I'm wearing my sneakers.
My sneakers.
So we are a little bit cold right now. So just before, guys, we are going to find out how much Max is making, and I know that you all want to know that, but let's first find out how you can get this kind of job. So Max, you got like 2 job offers because you have the right skill set and everything. But how did you find it? How did you find about that opportunity, and where did you apply for it?
So last year when I decided to move from my previous job, there would be job fairs at City of Edmonton for Canadian National, which is CN, and Canadian Pacific, which is CP. And I attended both of these job fairs and sent a resume. So I will give you a couple tips how you should write your resume to get this kind of jobs. So you have to write down that you have experience of being on call 24/7 365 days a year, which I had previous experience as a superintendent at the
Oh, yeah.
maintenance. And another tip is that you have been working with any heavy equipment that can be, trucks or any other equipment. So first is you're okay to be on call 24/7. Second, and it's working around heavy equipment, that you are not afraid of this big machinery, right? And the third tip is that you're okay to work in any weather condition, whether it's cold or hot or rain. So if you're okay with all these three demands of this job, and you have any kind of experience, you can put it in your resume, write it down, and you probably will be accepted by any of these railway companies.
Don't forget to check out Max's channel, because I'll leave a link in the description of this video, and it's also going to be in the end of the video, so make sure you check out his channel. And of course he's going to be reading these comments as well, but leave some comments on his website, on his channel as well, guys, because obviously Max has some really good stuff to tell you. Not necessarily like what are the negative parts of being a railroad, what are the most challenging parts of doing that.
So as you probably know already, that conductors at railroad and engineers, they make pretty good salary. It usually starts from 70,000-80,000 a year, and it goes up to $200,000 a year, which is pretty good money, right?
Oh, yeah, man.
And you
very good.
Some of this money goes to to taxes and stuff, but so the salary is would be number one. Second, pension. Canadian railroaders have pretty good pension. It's 77,000 a year.
So do they like match your contributions, or do they give it to you in the end, like something?
Yeah, they Canadian railroads, they federally regulated, and you got the federal pension, which means even if you go to another railroad, you still getting your pension, which is 77 or up to 90,000 a year.
Oh my God, that's
a
good.
pension, right?
A pension, yeah.
Which is,
so is it
wow.
like you get it in additional to your regular one, or is it like? I mean, there is like
I think it's the whole one, but it's still, 77,000. When the usual pension it's like what, 30,000 a year?
More importantly, Max, like how many years do you have to work there to get it?
I think that to get the full pension you have to work about 20 to 30 years, which is okay. And I'm not sure if I'm gonna work that long, but still, you got the pretty good amount of your pension anyways, even if you stay or you leave the railroad.
I heard, Max, that you are unionized environment. So what's the like? I heard unionized environment can be a good thing, can be not so good thing. What do you think about it? Like, is it like, do you get benefit of being in a union, or like, how do you find it? Because I never worked in a union.
So which is good about union, it's I will talk about Edmonton. If you get fired for anything, right? If it's not really bad, safety violation, you probably with union, you probably will get your job back.
Okay.
And if you get it, half of year later or even a year later, you'll get all your money that you have not earned.
Oh,
all your lost money, you can claim it.
oh my God, that's so awesome.
And if you have there is another thing. If you have a work insurance,
Yeah.
so when you fired, the work insurance pays you money.
Oh yeah.
And then
employment insurance, yeah.
yeah, no, it's a work insurance.
there's
It's a
work-
special,
Oh.
for the railroaders. You get $250 a day when you're fired. When you're off the job,
Yeah.
they start paying you the next day. So you get $250 a day, and when you're fired, and when you get when you union have your job back, you, like for example, you haven't worked for a year.
Yeah.
You get the whole salary for a year.
Plus the
So you, even if you have not work, you have double salary. Profit.
guys, I'm going to use him as my reference now because very soon I'm going to go and apply for that job too. That was pretty good, man.
The link for the applying will be in the description.
Yeah, you know what? We will leave a link for that for the both of the railways, right? What do you think?
Oh yeah.
No,
So
for both of the companies, the CP and what is the other one? CN?
Canadian National, and which is CN,
CN and
and
CP.
CP at Canadian Pacific. So if you guys, if you want to start working for any of this, it would be in the description. You can send your resume there.
So Max, I know that it sounds like it's an awesome job and everything, but obviously you have to wear your balaclava and the hat and stay warm like that. What are the challenges of this work? What is the most difficult part of it? And because to every positive thing there is something that can be challenging, because it's obviously there is no like a perfect job where you get all the benefits and you don't get to work. You still have to do lots of work, and it's probably also physically demanding.
Yeah.
Tell me which main challenges do you have?
So the main challenges and the cons of this job, actually, right? It's pretty physically demanding. You have to be able. Sometimes you have to lift some heavy items, but not all the time. But you have to climb the cars. You have to ride the cars in any weather condition. So it's like feels like -20 right now.
Yeah.
And when you ride in the car, it feels like -40 because and it's,
Oh, the
it's really,
wind.
yeah, because of the wind, and it's really cold. You have to work when it's rain, when it's hot, any weather condition. If you like to be outside, it's okay, and if you're wearing the good gear, it's okay. But still, it can be very challenging. So the second thing is the schedule. Working for the railroad, which is working 24/7, you have to be sometimes on call 24/7. You cannot plan your schedule when you're off, when you're on. So sometimes they call you night, they call you day. You have only 2-hour window to be at your work.
Oh my God.
Yeah,
So they could call you like in the middle of the night.
Yeah.
So basically, with this kind of schedule, when you're on call, you cannot really like put serious plans. For example, if you're on call and you're planning to do some activities with your family, at any time you have to do and go to work. Yeah.
Yeah, they call you. So, for example, you go to a party, a birthday party, and you have to go with 2 cars. Your wife and your kids go in one car, and you, with your gear, you go in another car. And if you've been called, you say everybody goodbye, and you go and work.
Oh.
So it's pretty tough for the families sometimes. But as soon as you get your seniority, sometimes you can get pretty good schedule, which is you'll have probably not Sunday and Saturday off, but some of the 2 days a week you'll have your days off, which you will be able to start planning some of your activities.
You like always on call, or is it like a certain amount of days in a month you have to be on call? Like how is this schedule? Do you have to be like, what's the longest time you've been away from your family while on a train? Like, do you go to another city and you stay there overnight, or how does it work? Do you just take the train back?
Sometimes you can decide if you are able to hold any kind of assignment.
Yeah.
With the days off, you can hold it, or you can be on call on a spare board. We call this spare board. So anytime they need a person, they take the person from the spare board on call and place it for anybody, right? To replace the guy who is sick or off duty. So yeah, and for the spare board, you usually take or city assignment. Sometimes you can travel to the next terminal. What can be Red Deer.
Yeah.
So we never travel too long because we have 10-hour day, or the most is a 12-hour day, and you cannot go too far. in this amount of time. So usually it's only like 50 to 100 miles away,
Yeah.
and then you come back.
Oh, I see.
Yeah.
It's not too far away. That's good.
Yeah.
It's not like we're going to Ontario.
Oh yeah, sure.
This is the coolest thing about the money in Canada. You can actually see through. My question is for you.
Yeah.
What can you expect making for a railway? Is that like a starting point for the railway? And I mean, how high can you go in your career?
So when I first started, I worked about half of a year. So first 4 months, which is the training, you get not a lot money. So the first year I made about $60,000, and the second year I could make about $70,000, which is pretty good amount, but it's still, you always want a little bit more.
A little bit more. Yeah.
Some of the conductors and most of the conductors experience, like with the 3-year service, they make around $100,000 a year. And if you work more and you work at this spare board, which are on call, you get a little bit more money. And if you called every day or 6 days a week, for example, you get up to 150 to 200,000 a year. And another thing to be promoted is when you have like 2 or 3 years of service, up to 5 years, you can be promoted to start your training as the engineer.
Oh.
And when you're engineer, you're driving the train, you're actually always inside, and so the weather is good for you.
Yeah.
And the money is better. Average salary of the engineer is 140,000 a year, which is right.
That's pretty good.
Yeah. That's why I want to become an engineer. I don't like cold.
Me too.
I don't like being under rain. I like driving the trains, and I want to have pretty good salary.
So if you like, so as a conductor, do you get to stand like outside of the train most of the
Yeah,
time?
most
or
of the
inside?
time, yeah, you have to do the hoses, so you can see the hoses over there.
Okay.
So when you connect the cars,
Yeah.
so this central thing called the knuckle,
Yeah.
which is knuckle.
Oh, this in the middle. Yeah.
Yeah, in the middle, it's the thing that connects the locomotive with the cars, railway cars. So to become a railroader, Igor wants to pass the
What's
test.
up, guys? What's up? What's up?
What's up, everybody? Look at this railroader of the year.
Railroader of the year. Right.
To
So.
open the knuckle, you have to pull the pin. Oh, you cannot pull the pin because it's a.
So they remove the pin, yeah?
No. Here's the pin,
There is a pin.
and it's all painted over.
Oh.
So, sorry, you won't be a railroader of the year. So the challenge is to hold the knuckle.
Challenge is to hold the knuckle. Who holds the knuckle for 24 hours gets this train
Yeah.
in -40 with no gloves.